So, welcome to the third EV Masterclass hosted by Ayvens. I hope you're comfortable and can hear and see the screen because you're about to kick it off. So, once again, welcome to this third Masterclass named Boost Sales with Electric Car Battery Know-How, hosted by the Central Marketing Department of Ayvens headquarters in Paris. So, indeed, we have already held two EV masterclass this year, and we'll be happy to share the recording with you if you missed them. So my name is Mira Idri. I'm working from the central marketing teams as international business developer. I'm reporting to you live from Ayvens headquarters in Paris, but we also have Avilu headquarters on the line in the starting blocks.
Hello.
Perfect. So this masterclass will last 1 hour, and at the end we also send you a record session for sure, and we will also ask for some feedback. So in the coming hour, we will provide you valuable insight, thanks to Mathieu and Jurk, and we will also send you on the valuable insights on one of the most important topic related to electric used car battery state of health. Our goal with these masterclasses is to provide you, for sure, with all necessary information to successfully resell your vehicle purchase on Carmarket. As we already aware, the market share of electric vehicles is growing in the used car market. So then obviously I'm not alone today, as I have the pleasure of being in the company of EV experts, Jurk Yannick, and a special guest from Avilu, Mathieu Peugeot. They will introduce themselves just after, because before we beginning, I would like to mention three more things. Like first, you can put a question in the chat. Feel free to post any question, comment, or feedback in the chat during or after the presentation. We'll address them at the end. And the second, the slides we will present today will be shared for sure via emails afterwards. And lastly, we would love, please, to hear your feedback on this EV masterclass. So we'll ask for it via email afterwards. It's important to us to have these three masterclass are relevant to you and your needs. Then please feel free to give us your opinion to help us to improve and to improve our future masterclasses. Now, I'm very pleased to announce Jurk Yannick and Mathieu Peugeot, who will present themselves and kick off this third EV masterclass. The floor is yours, Jurk and Mathieu.
Thank you very much, Mira. Hello, everyone, to this third masterclass that we are doing already for the Ayvens HQ Remarketing. My name is Jörg Janik, and I'm Senior International Consultant at Ayvens. Today I'm bringing you the topic State of Health in this third EV masterclass. I want to kick off actually also the third masterclass with exactly the same things that I have done in the first two, which were around myths and facts around electrification and proper driving and charging of an EV. So if you have not seen it, then Mira will for sure be able to share the YouTube link so you can rewatch the recording of the first two masterclasses. And again, as I already mentioned, I would like to kick off this third masterclass with a simple question to you all. And it is, would you buy a used electric car? It's a simple.
Si, c'est... Attendez, pourquoi j'entends...
We cannot hear you, Mathieu.
Sorry.
Now it's good.
Now it's good again? Okay.
Yeah.
And I would like to go on and ask you another question, and it will be, how can we best sell a used electric car to potential buyers? So I think this is a bit of a more difficult question. But to be honest, I think the answer is really simple, and it's by creating trust. When we build trust with our customers, I think we can almost sell anything to them. And I would like to continue and ask, what is it that keeps potential buyers of used electric cars away from buying used electric cars? For sure, of the most important aspects is the uncertainty regarding the quality of the battery of the car after a couple of years of usage. And when we think back to the first masterclass, actually, where we talked about myths and facts, then one of the myths where we discussed was that EV batteries, they do not last long. And that in that masterclass, we delivered some facts to fight exactly this myth. And one of the facts was that there is battery diagnostics companies in the world that will help us to find out how, in what good shape the battery of a car is. And to be honest, in my opinion, I can totally understand that people are a bit uncertain about this, because when you're not certain about it, why would you invest thousands of euros into a thing and to buy it? We all know it from mobile phones. When we buy a new mobile phone, in the beginning, the battery is really good and you get through the whole day. But after a couple of years of usage, the capacity is not the same that it used to be in the very beginning. And I'm here also now to find out if this is exactly the same with EV batteries. And that's why I invited myself here to the headquarters of Avilo and to Mathieu here in Austria, Vienna. And hello, Mathieu.
Hi, Jörg. Welcome to everyone.
Thanks for having me here. Mathieu, please introduce yourself a bit to our audience and tell us who you are.
Yes, sure. So hello, welcome everyone. I'm very, very happy to be here to talk a bit more about battery state of health, EVs, and remarketing. And so, my name is Mathieu Peugeot, and so I'm basically responsible of the activities of Avilo in the French-speaking world, and also handling some cool other projects cross borders. And I have a lot of fun actually working at Avilo, and what brought me here is basically what you've told. There are a lot of myths in the EV sector, and I just wanted to know what the truth is, basically. And sure, one of the biggest myths that exists is that basically the battery of EVs are bad, which is not true. As a matter of example, a key figure is that if we include all the BEV and PHEV, for 100,000 kilometers of mileage, the average SOH is 91%, which is quite good. However, the core of the topic is that there are huge variations.
Can you repeat the figure? What, the 91% after 7 years? Is that what you said?
So for 100,000 kilometers of mileage, we have BEV and PHEV included 91% of state of health.
That's a bold number.
That's good. However, the core topic is that there are a huge variation of state of health within the EV industry. So, for instance, if we're taking the same car with the same mileage and the same manufacturing year, we could have huge variation of state of health, because basically the battery treatment, so your behaviors, charging behavior, driving behavior, and so on and so forth. And that's why we created our battery tests to just bring this trust, because this uncertainty brings this lack of trust. And that's why, this is what we need. We bring to our clients, for your clients, guys, at the end.
Thank you for that introduction, Mathieu. To be able to make such a statement, I mean, that's a bold number that you just mentioned, 91% on average after 100,000 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
What's your foundation? What's your expertise? How can you make such a statement?
Okay, so I guess now it's the time to introduce a bit Avilo, so where we come from and how we can bring those data. So Avilo is an Austrian company based in Vienna, founded in 2018. Very important, because we are really like the first one to have developed those independent battery tests for EVs and PHEV. Today, we run a bit more than 350,000 battery tests on all cars, models, brands, etc. And we also gathered tens and tens of millions of data points of pure field driving data through monitoring and also driving tests. We are also quite proud of that we have a lot of field of expertise. We are doing nearly everything on our own, from the hardware to the firmware. For instance, our battery testing device that I will show you slightly later are 100% designed, developed, and manufactured in the room just behind us. So we are really doing everything, also our algorithm, our database, and everything is made possible thanks to an outstanding team of now nearly 80% in the company, and 50% of them are engineers in the field of electrotechnique, data science, battery experts, development with strong backgrounds of companies like Bosch, GM. So yeah, and that's why also we can provide a very large coverage rate of the cars. And I think we can today be proud of telling that we are the global market leader in this field, and with the goal to stay there.
From Vienna, Austria to the world, so to say.
Yeah.
Mathieu, tell us a bit, how did you get there? What was the story behind Avilo?
So the idea was quite simple, and it's quite cliche of the startups at the beginning, because it literally starts in a garage. The idea came from two friends, the co-founders, Wolfgang Berger and Nikolaus Meyerhofer. Wolfgang, so 10 years ago, received his first electric car as a company car, and just asked himself, how can I know what is the condition of the most important part of my car, which is the battery? And so he asked Nico, who was working at GM in the field of battery management system and this kind of stuff. And so they tried to come up with something in a garage, and apparently it worked, because we are not today. And as a fun fact, we still have this car, the very first car is still in our fleet, and we are driving it on a daily basis. So, yeah.
Okay. So funny story.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing this. And maybe, not maybe, I'm sure our audience would like to know what exactly you are capable of. So what can you do to create the trust that we were speaking before, that you also have in your slogan somehow, creating trust?
Yes, definitely. So when we want to assess the condition of the battery, we are basically giving a lot of information. The first thing that we have to understand and to give to our clients is there a defect in the battery or not? It's the most important thing. So basically, after a test, you're receiving a report. If we detect a defect, you're receiving a report without any value on it, so without any state of health value, just while telling, oh, there is a defect inside, and we're giving a lot of insights about this defect. So what kind of defect it is, how serious it is, so we measure this defect basically, and we also place it in the battery pack precisely. If there is no defect, in most of the case, we are calculating, and this is one of the specificity of Avilo, we're calculating state of health value of the car, an independent one, based on several parameters that we're testing. So first, the analysis down to cell level. And then, yeah, we are calculating this state of health value. How we do this, basically, we just are basing ourselves on field driving data, but I think we'll come up on this slightly later.
Yeah, we're coming onto that point later. Maybe a question in between. We know from OEMs that they also can kind of measure or deliver a number on SOH. What's the difference from that to yours?
This is very true. So basically, one thing to understand is that there is today no standard behind the calculation of state of health. Basically, it means that you can name state of health everything. And so there are as many definitions as state of health as a way of calculating it. One value that you can find is obviously the value stored in the car. Each car is calculating its own value of state of health. This is what we call the readout value, because you can read it from the vehicle. The specificity of Avilo through the flash test is that we are not basing our analysis only on that. We are calculating our state of health value. Why? For two main reasons. The first one is the independent. As we want to remain independent and to be a third independent party.
Dependent, you mean not dependent to an OEM?
On the OEM, yeah, true. Because theoretically, you can make a car telling what you want through a vehicle software update. And the second reason, which is the main one, is just a pure technical limitation in the calculation of state of health from the car. So we have to enter a little bit into the technique, but the component in a car, which is responsible of the calculation of the state of health, is called the BMS, the battery management system, just a computer with dealing with the battery, basically. The role of the BMS is basically to balance the battery pack, which means putting all the cells at the same voltage, the same temperature to guarantee stability and more performance of the battery pack. The BMS doesn't take into account any defect in the battery while calculating the state of health value. Why? Just because it is balancing live the defect. So for him, the pack is always balanced, the state of health is good. However, balancing live a cell needs and asks a tremendous amount of energy, so of battery, and you have at the end of the day a battery which is going empty by itself. And so that's why we developed our own battery test down to cell level, basically.
Okay. Just for our audience, we've put a slide for you to summarize a bit of what Mathieu was just saying. So SOH, state of health, yeah, and it basically reflects the overall condition of a battery expressed in percentage, yeah. And we also note that there is no global standard available on SOH. So all the OEMs, they do it differently, but they basically do it by reading out the SOH out of the battery management system.
Correct.
Versus your way is to measure it.
Yeah, to calculate it by our own through our own analysis. I can explain also how we do this, or
that would actually be my next question. How you do it? How do you measure it? How is that working? How is that process?
Which is an excellent question, because our tests are static, and so how could we, in a static way, calculate an independent value of state of health? To understand this, we'll have to go back a bit in the past. In the history of Avilo. Avilo developed two kinds of tests, basically the premium test and the flash test. The premium test was the first test that we developed, and it's a driving test. It's a dynamic test. So it requires you to charge your car until 100%, to plug the box on the OBD port of the car, and to discharge your car until 10% while driving it. In 1 day, in 7 days, doesn't matter. You just have to create a discharging cycle.
So, but that's a long process then.
Yeah, so absolutely not scalable, and that's why we exist like 8 years. But this is a very, very deep test, and it allowed us to gather the biggest database of driving field data on the market. And from this database, 5 years later, we developed the flash test, the static test. So basically what we're doing, the flash test is based on the premium test, on the knowledge and on the data that we have from the premium test, which means that during a flash test, we are gathering raw data about the battery and comparing it with the reality of driving data to calculate our own energy-based state of health.
Okay. So you have on the one hand that dynamic test, on the other hand you have the flash test, which is more often used.
The flash test, obviously, because if you're going to one of your inspection partners, which are inspecting hundreds of cars a day, if you are asking them, please charge and discharge all the car of your compound
from 100 to 10%,
we got interesting answers in the past.
Okay. So so SOH then would be actually something like the new total mileage, I guess. Can we say that like this in the used car market?
Absolutely, absolutely. The fact that there are huge variation of state of health for the same vehicle and the same mileage makes that you can't pull any generality with the state of health. So the state of health is becoming really the new mileage, so the way of assessing the condition of the battery, basically.
Okay.
And if I go just a bit deeper, we are calculating an energy-based state of health, which is directly linked to the range of the car.
So you mean you really measure how much capacity the battery can store? Is it correct?
And deliver.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
In kilowatt hours.
Okay. So actually, then that's a complete new opportunity for used car buyers, especially for EVs. It's a big game changer, I guess.
It's a huge game changer because the EV marketing sector is usually seen more as a problem as an opportunity, but this is actually wrong. And I can emphasize this a bit more through a remarketing study that we run around 6 countries in Europe, where we ask directly some questions to the EV buyers.
You mean about the sales price?
The sales price, but also about the opportunities. And we have outstanding results. For instance, on all the people who answered us, I will never buy any EVs. 36% of them told us, oh, if the used EV is coming with the battery certificate, I'm considering buying it. And also on all the people who told us, I want to buy an EV, but just new, 57% of them just told, okay, if there's an independent battery certificate, I want to buy a used one. So here you can clearly see an opportunity for business and not a problem anymore, because trust is back within your customers.
Okay, so we see the opportunity, and now I'm really curious, and I see it standing here on the floor. Maybe you explain a bit how the test is going on, and you can also show what you have here.
With pleasure. So the testing process is very easy, and so very easily scalable too for large volumes like Ayvens car, basically. So everything is working with our testing device, which is called the Avilo box. Again, 100% our own.
We hold it a bit in the camera so people can see about the size.
Yeah. And so this is a fully independent testing device. Why independent? First, because it has a SIM card inside, so it is connected to the mobile network, so you don't have to use any Wi-Fi or to use any Bluetooth. And also, the box is able to recognize precisely the car that is being tested. So brand, model, battery size, VIN number, etc. So you also don't need any smartphone or any tablet computer to set up your test. You basically just have to open the box and take an OBD cable, plug the OBD cable on the OBD port of the car, and then just...
Here is also an OBD port for connecting it to the cable.
And then just plug in the cable on the box and just wait 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, a small LED in the logo of the box is lightning solid green. When it's solid green, it means that the test is done and the report is already sent. It's as easy as this, and it's working always in the same way and it lasts around 3 minutes. So that's basically how the test is working, fully automatic, and you can really scale it by plug in, plug out, plug in, plug out, and just doing this with all your compound.
Mira, may I ask you to display the slide as well? We have created for this so that our audience will get a bit of an overview of how the test will look like. Just for information, we still see the state of health overview. No, one before here, this one. So you see here also the size again of the test box. Then you simply plug it to the OBD port, and it starts automatically. And then, like after 3 minutes, you will receive, and that's something I was surprised, you will receive an email actually with the results.
You can do both. So in a very standard way, we are sending all the results per email to one or more email address that we link with the boxes. But then we can also go a bit further through API to just send all the results in your systems without going through the emails.
Mira, if you could please go to the next slide. That's exactly what we talked about before, that the 91% after 100,000 kilometers. I tried to display it here a bit with the yellow arrow, but Mathieu, tell us, what do we see here on this graph?
Yeah, so we see two very interesting things. The first one is very obvious. So here it's a scatter plot, which represents a lot of tests. depending on their mileage.
So each blue dot is one test result, actually.
Correct. Exactly.
I didn't count them, but you said 350,000.
This is the new one, so there are like maybe 50,000. Here, oh yeah, correct. 350,000 test on this scatter plot. You can see two very interesting things on this graph. The first thing is very obvious. The bigger is the mileage, and the bigger is the average degradation of the battery. The more you're using your car, and the more you're aging it. This is very standard. But what is very interesting to see is the spread. So it's a spread which is getting bigger. What does it mean? It means that the bigger is the mileage, and the bigger is the uncertainty around the state of health of the car. Why? Because there are huge variation of state of health, mainly because of your behavior regarding your car. So the very well-known
way the car is treated,
behaviors, or charging, driving style, and so on and so forth. And so that's why this graph really shows that you need to test your car, because only with the mileage you can't pull a generality.
So the mileage is not the real argument for the degradation of the battery.
Correct.
So it's no direct link between aging, like physical age, and SOH.
Yeah. So typically it's linked, but it's not the only link that.
But not the most important, maybe.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Because when I look at the graph, actually, I still see that after 150,000, there's still a huge, or let's maybe go to 100,000. There's still a huge amount of tests that are even at 100% of state of health after 100,000.
Correct, because the batteries are good.
Okay.
The batteries are good. The only issue is that the spread is quite big, and the risk is also high, because a battery is very, very expensive. And so that's why this topic is super interesting. Is first one, that the batteries are better than we think. But however, on the second hand, you still have a big risk of defect or of a bad state of health, because
it can go in both directions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's why exactly there is a company like Avilo. Yeah.
Correct. That's right.
A diagnostic company doing exactly these tests. Okay. Yeah. Mathieu, what's your opinion on this? Do you think there is a link between SOH and sales price, or a certificate and sales price?
More than I think. I am sure that there is a link between SOH and sales price. First, before speaking about the impact of state of health on the sales price, let's talk about the impact of just providing a certificate to your customer on the sales price. For this, we are showing you still in our marketing studies on the EV buyers. We just ask them. How much are you willing to pay more for a used EV if I give you a battery certificate? And depending on the country, they answered on average between 550 to 1,000 euros more, only to get a certificate of the battery. And if I come back to what you said at the very beginning with the smartphone, that's exactly it. I think that we are all ready to pay maybe 10 or 20 euros more for a second-hand smartphone if we are 100% sure that the battery is certified. And it's the same, but with the proportion of the price of an EV. And so this is just the price of trust, basically. And then, obviously, 50% of the value of the used EV is in the battery. So a bigger state of health, is also bigger price, and a lower state of health is also a lower price. But it's also the cost of transparency. And as we see, only trust makes you win money.
Okay, so we see 550 to 1,000 euros. That's what your survey or your study has found out. Are people willing to pay more if a used EV is provided with an independent certificate, or with speaking about the certificate?
Yes.
I think we have also a slide here for how such a certificate looks like. Yes, exactly this one. So that's what you get. So like here on my tablet in this case, because it's sent via email, as you mentioned before. And question would be, because you spoke about when the comparison again with the smartphone, the battery. I know when I buy a used smartphone, there is the opportunity to buy a refurbished smartphone. So my question would be, is there an opportunity to increase or improve the SOH of an EV?
Yes and no. It depends on the issue that you have. If I'm taking the example of Avilo, we can detect two main kinds of issues. What we call the major issues through the red flag report, and some minor issues. If it's a major issue, you just have to repair the battery to improve the state of health at the end of the day. But if it's a minor issue, like an issue with the balancing of the pack, you can rebalance it, and we can detect this. So we can provide you with those insights, telling, oh, the state of health is low, but it's because you have a slightly balancing issue in your battery. Please just rebalance your pack while just like charging to 100%. And
you just see there the red flag report you were speaking about.
Yeah, so this is an example of a red flag report, so of a major defect that you can see on the second page. So here it's on the cell. I don't know, it's too small to see here, but we don't give you.
You're speaking about on the right side.
Yes, correct. So on the left side, you can see that we don't give any state of health value. Why? Because we don't want you to just interpret the low state of health value. The main thing to get if there is a major defect is I do not have to sell this car, because you have to repair it. And on the second page, we're giving insights on what the issue is. But we also have this yellow report. I think we do not have them here, but where we just provide you with some insights to just improve the state of health value, for instance, by rebalancing the battery pack.
What do you mean by rebalancing? What can I understand under rebalancing a battery pack?
So you can force the BMS to rebalance the battery pack. So which means to, for instance, put all the cells back at the same voltage and at the same temperature. For this, it's very easy. You just have to charge your car until 100% and leave it for maybe one night. And so it will force the battery management system to pull back all the cells on the same voltage, and it will improve the state of health value because you will have a more stable pack, and so a bigger range at the end.
Maybe can you repeat that again, because I think this is quite interesting, because it's like a do-it-yourself a trick, no?
So if you have a balancing problem, is a lot happening if you're, for instance, never charging your car until 100%.
Yeah.
You could have a balancing problem. Like for instance, we've got that with an auction client who just forgot a Tesla on his compound, and after 1 year, the state of health was very, very low. But because it has a huge balancing problem, and on the report we wrote, look, just charge your car until 100% and leave it for one night, and he did that, and he won, I think, like 7% of state of health because the pack was fully rebalanced.
Okay. So good news, even though there is a low state of health certified or tested or managed, then still there's an opportunity to improve it.
Sometimes.
Yeah. That's the yellow report that you mentioned. So we have the red report, we have the yellow. That's what we here see now is the green report.
Yeah, and that's a green where everything is fine. You have a state of health value. It's slightly above the average, because on the first page, on the right side, you can see like a small green graph. This is a benchmarking tool. So we compare this result for this specific vehicle with this specific battery size and this specific mileage to other comparable vehicles. What we call comparable vehicles are vehicles with the same battery and under the same mileage, more or less to just answer to the question, is the result good or bad? And we tell you, okay, this result is slightly above or slightly below average or on average.
So maybe me now as not a professional battery certifier, when I get this report, then I would interpret it like this, that, okay, my SOH is 94%. Yeah. And for my special vehicle, in terms of mileage, age, it's slightly above average.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
So that would mean that the majority of vehicles in this concrete example would be with a lower SOH, let's say 90% or 80% or something like this.
Oh, yeah. So it means that I think that on average for this vehicle with this battery set and this mileage, yeah, the average looks to be something like 92%. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. And on the right side of that report, so the second page actually, we see the battery cell condition. So all these little red, these little green things there. What's that? What would we see there?
So what you can see, like the green dots, squares on the right side of the report, is a complete cell mapping of the battery pack. So it's the pack of your battery with all the cells. And you can visually see if the battery pack is well balanced or not. It's more or less the same colors, very green, meaning that the pack is well balanced.
In good condition. Mira, can you please go back one slide? Because I would like to take a closer look at the red flag report.
Yes.
Where we have, it's very tiny, but there's one red cell, and that would be the defect actually.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
And so that means that cell would have to be repaired.
Yes, so either the cell or the module which contains the cell, or sometimes all the pack, depending on the OEM guidelines.
Okay, it's very, very interesting. Thank you. So already learned a lot of new things. One question: what does the QR code do?
The QR code just give you access to the report.
Okay.
On your phone.
Okay. So quick and simple. So we plug in the test. It takes about 3 minutes. Then after 3 minutes, we receive a result.
Correct.
And in best case, we receive a certification. In worst case, there is a fault or a minor fault report, the red flag report that states, okay, that or that cell, there's an issue, or it's not well balanced, or it needs to be repaired.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, we know what we buy.
Absolutely.
We spoke before about the topic again, bringing back the comparison with the mobile phone, with the smartphone. So I know there is the possibility to buy a refurbed smartphone because then I get some guarantee that there's a new battery in there, or it's a repaired battery, or it's software update done, and so on and so forth. Do you see any possibilities to give, with your experience now, to give to potential EV drivers or to EV drivers how to treat their vehicles in order to maintain a really good state of health? I mean, we have done that, or we have discussed it, like how to increase the range of your battery of your car by, keeping it at a certain state of charge, by not driving too fast, by charging, in a certain way. So you can all watch that with the YouTube video. But when we take that and we reflect it on the state of health of a used EV, what can I, as an EV driver, do to maintain that good SOH of my battery?
This is an excellent and a key question for the future, because the longer you're driving with your car and the more sustainable the EV is. Basically, to answer to this question, you just have to understand what is a battery. So a battery pack are several modules, and several modules are composed of several cells. A cell is defined by the number of full cycles which it can handle in its whole life, which means how many times the cells, and so the pack, could be charged and discharged. This is the life of the battery. For instance, in most of the car, after 3,000 full cycles, you're reaching like 80% of state of health.
3,000?
More or less, yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And so when you have this in mind, you understand that the logic to save your state of health and to maintain it very high is to minimize or to optimize the number of cycles that you're doing. For instance, the driving behaviors. If you're driving very aggressively, you will ask more battery, and so energy, maybe not 17 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, but maybe 25. And so for the same path, you will maybe charge not one time, but 1.5 times. And so to just
So it's half
save
a
it,
cycle more.
yeah. So just to save it, you have to have a cautious driving style. Just like the fast charging. Now we all know that fast charging always is not the best idea ever. Like a wall box at home or at work is way better, and you just fast charge when you really need, when you're going on vacation, or for instance, to the preconditioning of your car. We're in Austria, and winter is coming. So we like on our app to heat the car, to heat the seats, everything. It's better to do it when the car is plugged, because the energy which will be used to heat the car will come from the grid and not from your battery. And so you're saving a bit more battery, and so at the end of the day, more cycles. And so the parking behavior are also very important.
Parking behavior.
Do not park with 100% of.
There we have a slide now.
Oh yeah, perfect. The parking behavior. So you do not have to park your car with, for instance, 100% of state of charge, because it's very bad if you're going on holiday and you're not driving. Just park your car with 50-60% is way better. So those are like small tips.
That's the SOC.
The SOC stands for state of charge. It's the level of charge that you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have the temperature. Like, I mean, I cannot influence the temperature.
No. But for instance, again, if you're going on holiday, do not park under the sun. If you know, like, and the roof is way better, because the people think that the battery do not like the cold, but no, they do not like the heat. The cold just like reduces your range, but not the state of health of your car.
It's like us. We like a certain amount of heat and a certain amount of cold, and somewhere in this channel in between, we feel comfortable.
Correct.
And I guess it's the same with the battery.
Correct. So the temperature, the driving style, we already talked about this. The parking behavior, the preconditioning, the recuperation also. It's always better to be cautious. And so not use too much recuperation, because you're putting too much pressure on your battery. So aging it also quicker. So very.
I mean, just to give a side information here, we have discussed it in the first two masterclasses, recuperation, meaning or speaking about regenerative braking. So it's actually transforming energy created out of movement into battery that will be stored in my battery.
Absolutely.
So when I accelerate, then I will, use a lot of energy. And when I go down, for example, I don't accelerate. I just let the car go. Then that energy that will be created when downwards driving will be restored into the battery.
Yeah.
And I know that from my EV, I cannot adjust it. It's automatic. But I know from other OEMs, from other cars, that there is the possibility to adjust. So that's one also I gave as a recommendation in one of the master classes I've done, that to use a recuperative braking or regenerative braking as a possibility to increase, of course, the range, right? But in this case now you say it's actually negative.
It's like the charging behavior. The fast charging is very practical for your daily life, but it's not that good for the state of health of your battery. And the recuperation is just the same. You're just putting more pressure and constraints on your battery, because you're charging and discharging and so on and so forth. So it's good, but if you really want to save it as long as possible, you have to use not that much the recuperation, and just set up a small one.
When you do, that would be like of interest for me now. When you do such a test, can you say that somebody used a fast charger all the time?
Are you talking about the future of Avila? We can already see it in our data.
Really?
So the proportion of fast charging and low charging that the car already handled.
So actually, then it would be best for the battery to mainly slow charge, or super slow charge, actually, the battery, because that's the more, I've learned that to call it the most relaxing way for the battery to be charged. and not to fast charge all the time.
I mean, the best thing to do basically is to have a wall box at home, a wall box at work, and charging here, and only fast charging when you really need to, when you're going on the weekend or on holiday, really
or immediately drive after charging, basically.
For instance,
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. So I think there's a lot of similarities what we have discussed in the second masterclass, where it was about proper driving and charging of your EV. We had basically the same recommendations. So driving style, recuperation, charging, and so on and so forth. So these are the things. So we learned that when we treat the car well, we will not only go longer in terms of mileage, but we will also have a longer good shape of battery of our car. I would like to get back to something that we have discussed before. You said time factor is like time aging is part of the game, but it's not the most important thing.
Correct.
So these things are way more important than.
Absolutely correct. So if you are aging your battery if you are using it, basically. So if you are charging or discharging it. So a 2-year-old car with 70,000 kilometers of mileage will likely have a lower SOH as a 6-year-old car, but just with 20,000 kilometers of mileage, because you are putting way more constraints on your battery in driving it and using it. Just leave it.
I remember I once had a talk with your CTO Nico Meyerhofer, and he mentioned that he had a very extreme case of a test with I'm not gonna name the brand, but it was a very famous EV brand, and the vehicle was about 10 years old, and they still had an SOH of 94 or 95% or something.
Absolutely, and it's absolutely possible if you're very cautious and you're not driving that much, you can really push your car very, very far away. And we also have in our database some monitoring cars with more than 200,000 kilometers or more, and with still like very high level of state of health, because the drivers are very cautious and are doing really the things well. So you can really, really push your EV far.
Okay. Good to know. Time factor is a factor, but not the most important one. We have others that will play a more important role. But let's stay with technology. I mean, we know there is different battery technologies out there. Once in a while, we hear rumors about the new technology coming up, and so when I'm a used car buyer and I want to buy an EV, or I think about buying an EV, and then I learn, next week there will be a new technology on the market. Maybe I will then, step one step back and say, no, I wait for 2 more years because there is a new technology coming around the corner very soon, and then will be deployed to the market. And that's basically, thanks Mira for sharing, one of the myths we also discussed actually in the first masterclass, that the battery technology is too new. But in that masterclass that we learned, it's not new. And especially speaking about the lithium-ion battery, we know that it has been used by Sony already in the 1990s. They introduced it to their camcorders. Maybe you all remember the big one for videos, not with the iPhone today, but with the big ones. So they already had the lithium-ion batteries there. So it was in the 1990s already. So the technology is not new.
No, absolutely not. And also the thing is, there's like no better tech than others. They just have characteristics which are different. If we see what we have here, so the two main ones today are the NMC and the LFP batteries.
So the NMC will be the lithium-ion battery.
Yeah, with the nickel and manganese and cobalt for the cathode.
The lithium iron phosphate battery, LFP.
Yeah, so this is just the components of the cathode.
Which one is the most used?
Is the NMC today, which is slightly more expensive, but which is offering you a longer range. And the LFP is cheaper, but is heavier, and so gives you a shorter range. A very useful tip to remember this, if I can quote them, it's like if you're taking Tesla, the Tesla with the short range are using LFP tech, and with the long range are using NMC tech.
Okay, so we have the pros and cons listed there, and the last battery is the solid state battery. I mean, that has been rumored in the recent past quite a lot. What about that?
So to be honest, I don't know. The ID looks very nice and good, and the range which are already called are huge. But the thing is, I can't talk about the degradation of this battery because they are until now not driving.
Yeah.
So happy to do.
They're in theory, but they're not on the road.
Yeah,
yet.
happy to do a new session when they will like drive since 2 years, but now it's too soon to talk about that.
So thank you very much, Mathieu. Mira, a question to you.
Yeah.
Do you have any statistics regarding the car market?
For sure, I have. So yeah, great, Jörg and Mathieu. It's an EV masterclass as we like them, full of information that will allow to become you an EV expert. So yeah, I have some information for you just to go back there. And I think you can see my screen now. Yes, we want to highlight here Ayvens Carmarket, which is still to go through marketplace providing thousands of EV in one place. Ayvens Carmarket is one of the world's leading platform for selling used car to professionals, covering about 40 countries, including 19 exporting countries in Europe. So huge platform to source your EVs, but also other vehicles, obviously. And if you have any question for the team as international trader, you can always reach out to me directly or to our international service team in Warsaw, in Poland, who will help you for sure through the car market contact forms. So quick on this topic, because we keep it green. On the topic of SOH here, I'd like to bring in some additional insights, especially by linking Carmarket to Avilu. The idea is to correlate the state of health data with the EVs we are presenting on the Carmarket in order to give a clear picture of battery performance of our customer here. So today we already have 3 countries where this is implemented: Germany, Netherlands, and France. And as this market for sure have relevant, since they're representing a high volume of EV returns for Ayvens. So, for example, with Ayvens German, all the vehicles that we sell come with an SOH installation reports. So if we take it like concretely, like this figure with this graph here, the scale of 1 to 6 show the level of concentration of EVs vehicle volume, with 1 corresponding to the largest volumes, looking at the majority of our vehicles with an average age mileage of 4 years and about 50,000 kilometers. We can see an average of over 93%. So, and for the overall volume, we with the equivalent, so average age mileage, we see an average SOH of nearly 96%. So that's a strong indicator of quality and reliability, and it's comes directly from Avilu data in this country. So this confirms the value of integration of integrating Avilu report into our Carmarket listing. The goal is simple. We want to make sure a transparent and trust SOH report is available for electric cars. So that's the key message that I want to highlight here to strengthen the link between Carmarket and Avilu. And for sure, we'll come to the Q&A session to
exactly. Just wanted to ask whether there are any questions.
Yes, for sure.
I think now would be a good moment.
Yeah. So let me pick some questions there, and the first one comes with. Yeah. So the first one is. Just let me hear. Yeah. While there be international standards in terms of measuring calculation, but also in terms of what value of giving the outcome.
Yes, so this is an idea. It's to standardize a bit everything, because I think we all get the point that one of the key topic is that there is until now no standard behind the calculation of state of health. So there is a guideline from the European Commission, which is called the GTR 22 or Euro 7, which is trying to limit the definition of the state of health, and to limit in what. So this is not perfect, but they are telling that the state of health should be an energy-based calculation, without telling how to do it, but basically how that it should be based on the.
But still providing
energy.
some regulations how to do it, like in terms of what to measure, and so that of course narrows it down a bit.
Yeah, correct. And which is very good for us, because it was since the beginning our understanding about what was the state of health, and it's for 2027 or something like this.
Okay.
So yeah, so it won't be 100% standardized, but the definition of the state of health will be already limited.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mathieu. As we're running out of time, I'm just give you there like the key takeaway. So Jurk, I hope it's free for them.
Yeah, of course. I'm
Yeah.
always happy to wrap things up at the end of a masterclass or of a meeting. So let's do that, Mathieu. So
Perfect.
thanks for sharing your insights with us. And I think I learned a lot. And summing it up, so SOH is the new total mileage of a vehicle. That's the first takeaway. So people will look at the SOH when buying a used EV, and the mileage itself is not that important, because when you compare an ICE car to a BEV car, it's less moving parts and so on and so forth. So we know all that, but SOH will be the new total mileage. We also know that, or we learned actually, that a battery lasts way longer than the rumored 4 years that you might have heard of someone that knows someone that knows someone. So in this case, we are really matching the results we did at Ayvens with your results, and it's like, so to say, a 90% match, more than 90% match. So and speaking about the 90% SOH on average after 100,000 kilometers is higher than 90%. So that's basically the result. And we also learned that if you properly treat your car, and I mean charging, driving, preconditioning, recuperation, state of charge, parking, things like this, that influences SOH very much. But also, of course, the range. So it's a bit, what to do, increase range. Yeah, but so treat your car well, and then you will increase SOH and range. And of course, that's a specialty about Avilo right now, that an independent SOH diagnostics like Avilo is doing is able to be done on cell level. And of course, as you mentioned your survey, it will influence the sales price of a used EV.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. This is a nice wrap up.
That's a nice wrap up. All right. So I'm just seeing, Mira, we're actually perfectly in time. So we hear from Vienna, Austria, a bit outside of Vienna. That's what we recognize. So it's not really Vienna. It's Wiener Neudorf, yeah. But
Can I also say that Mira told that the headquarters was in Paris, which are in Ruelle Malmaison, which is the equivalent of Wiener Neudorf for Vienna.
That's true. So, but we agree that we are in Austria, and it was really great talking to you, Mathieu. Thank you for sharing the insight. Thank you for having me here and for sharing everything with our audience. I think we learned a lot, and we say goodbye from almost Vienna, Austria.
Perfect. And just a quick word, we'll have the opportunity for sure to sharing information about the next masterclass with you. So stay watchful. You will be invited in the same way for sure as we were for this one. And so first of all, I would like to thanks very much and a lot our EV experts here, Jörg and Mathieu, in Vienna.
Almost.
Almost.
Almost, that have provided you like all the knowledge about SOH you need to become you an EV experts. So thank you for joining us and have a nice day. And yeah, we keep in touch for the next EV masterclass. Thank you very much all.
Brilliant.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, Mira. Bye-bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank
Auf
you. Bye.
Wiedersehen.
Merci.
Au revoir.
Servus.
Adios. Servus.
Servus.
Servus.